Hey, welcome back everyone. It is of course now the middle of October essentially, and a lot of Star Wars fans are really beginning to get very excited for what's about to be announced at next year's Star Wars Celebration event, as well as next year's D23 that's really going to set up the entirety of the Star Wars roadmap that's going to expand all of the shows beyond 2025 and more. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe between John, George, and Dave is that they are taking a lot of fan favorite elements from Star Wars Legends and throwing it into the current canon, a lot of which has to do with the fact that we will be getting actual fan favorite Legends characters coming to life under Disney Star Wars as a whole. Now, obviously, Chapek is trying to create a legacy for himself. Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, has been having quite a rough time with the Star Wars universe, given that there's been so much criticism over the most recent shows like Boba Fett and Kenobi, etc. They're really trying to save their image now by catering to the fans, giving the fans what they've been asking for a very long time now, and finally just making the positive side of Star Wars into a reality. Now, with that being said, however, what's really all the more exciting is exactly what George Lucas recently was able to make possible, and how Favreau and Filoni on the other end of the spectrum here are really handling something truly special that's about to actually happen within the Star Wars universe. Now, with that being said, one of which has a lot to do with a fan favorite character that a lot of hardcore fans actually love and enjoy. Now, with that being said, with George Lucas now actively involved with both Favreau and Filoni, they are also getting ready to make some very important and game-changing decisions within the Star Wars franchise. Now, it's noted that George Lucas was the one to make the official decision on who will be cast as Darth Plagueis in future Star Wars projects, for Star Wars, of course, geared at actor Michael Shannon to fall into full motion capture suit sequences to become a live-action version of Darth Plagueis. Now, further, it's described that his appearance as Plagueis in the Circle of the Will show will just be the very beginning, and that Favreau and Filoni, along with Lucas, are setting things up to make Plagueis the big bad for a brand new era in the Star Wars universe before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. John and Dave's plan is to focus on a big bad villain for each era. Currently, both Ahsoka and Mando is focusing on Thrawn, with pre-Phantom Menace content now also focusing on Darth Plagueis in the mix. Now, here's the kicker. George Lucas and John have recently decided on what species Plagueis will be, however, that is still currently unknown. Given that Disney wanted to actually keep him as an actual Mun and stay true to the original version of Plagueis now in the Legends universe. Now, apart from all of this, what's even all the more exciting, before I get to the next piece here, is that Michael Shannon is actually signing up for a multi-show contract deal to come back as, of course, Darth Plagueis multiple times. So essentially, Disney and Lucasfilm want to make sure that the live-action version of Plagueis is not just going to be a one-off, it's going to be coming back in many different shows. Similar to what they are doing now with Ahsoka, Luke, Boba Fett, you name it. And now they're going to be doing that with Plagueis in a lot of pre-Phantom Menace-focused Star Wars shows. The first one being Circle of the Wills, which, by the way, is going to be an anthology show, where one whole episode is going to be dedicated to Plagueis and a young version of Palpatine, as we had already discussed. And on top of that, there's going to be 4 other projects where Michael Shannon will reprise the role of Plagueis either as a cameo or as a major actual character in those shows. So it's going to be a mixture of that, a mixture of cameos and big roles. And I honestly think that this is long overdue. A lot of fans have been asking for Plagueis to be shown in live-action form multiple times. This is something that fans always wanted to see in the sequel trilogy in some way, shape, or form, but we never really got that, unfortunately. But now Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas are making that into a reality. So let's also focus on something big here related to the universe as well, as the fact that Jon and Dave are going to be taking a lot of core elements from the James Luceno book and turning that into live action. So if you guys want to pick up or read up on the James Luceno book, or if you want to just skim through the plot of it all online and get a general idea of what that book entails, it's going to give you a better way of understanding of what Favreau and Filoni are going to be cherry picking from. So it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting to see exactly how they're going to be able to utilize Plagueis in this new version of Star Wars, and this new version of Plagueis, so to speak. So again, the greatest update of all is number 1, Michael Shannon signing up for a multi-show contract deal, and number 2 is that George, Jon, and Dave recently settled on what species Darth Plagueis will be in the Disney canon. Like I say, it's still unknown, even in the books, on whether or not he's even a Mun. We don't really know about that yet. And Disney in the beginning wanted to turn him into something otherwise, but now George, Jon, and Dave want to keep him as a Mun, just like in Legends, which, you know what, that's the way to go. You really can't change that, right? I mean, that's how most fans think about Plagueis right now, nowadays, judging off of the book cover art and all the like. Now, the other thing that is really important here that I think a lot of fans need to be aware of is that everything related to the Disney Star Wars universe is that they are absolutely trying to revive Legends and keep it as accurate as possible. So the only way to really go about doing that is by keeping him as a Mun. I really can't imagine them changing his species and really drastically changing him as far as appearance goes. Now, I don't know what you guys have to say about Michael Shannon taking on the role of Plagueis. I would love to hear what you all have to say about that below. After all, the actor does not have to really look like the character all that much, as we have seen with Andy Serkis as Snoke, as a great example there. The same exact thing applies here with Michael Shannon as Plagueis. So you don't really have to look like the character. You might have a couple, things that resemble the character here and there, like eyes, maybe mouth. But that's about it. Nothing truly, connected. Now, Michael Shannon, I think he's a fantastic actor. Some fans would like to disagree with that, saying that he was a horrible Zod. I thought he was a great Zod, that's just my opinion. But he's done a lot more work than just Man of Steel. Alright, he's been in tons of other projects, tons of other movies and shows out there, that really just proves his, loyalty to the film industry as an actor, and what he's willing to actually be open to. And it kind of reminds me of Christian Bale, right? Who would have ever thought that Bale would be in Thor: Love and Thunder, or in a Marvel Cinematic Universe film? Nobody would have ever thought about that. And I think the same applies to Michael Shannon in Star Wars. So, like I say, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night